I traded him vitamins because I thought hormones would be the more interesting of the two. Can we go through my ideas for a hormone-based magic system? It's super unique, and I was thinking you, as a medical professional who specializes in hormones, could give me feedback on what I have so far.
I'll do my best, man.
Welcome to Between Two Perns. My name is Jackson Diggett, and I'm joined here by the Silver Fox himself, Mr. George Clooney.
Thank you.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm seeing here your real name is Davis Ashura. Okay.
That is correct.
More like Ashura. I should have realized that you weren't George Clooney sooner.
Oh, come on, man. That's being racist. Ashura is a cool name. It is. That's from Hinduism.
Yeah, no, it's a very cool name, and I would never make fun of it. I would.
Okay.
That was the Ashura was just an unfortunate turn of phrase.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Your books stem from some fascinating inspirations, and I'd like to talk about a few of those. I read how the William Wilde series came to be. You mentioned you wrote the book because there weren't that many novels that featured young men as the protagonists. Is that correct?
That's right.
I'm disappointed that I found these books so late in life. My childhood was also really lacking in books that featured young boy protagonists, I guess except for Harry Potter. Oh, and Aragon.
Yeah, those are small. Nobody knows about those, though. So
There was Pendragon, too. Artemis Fowl, Alex Rider, the Nicholas Flamel series, The Last Apprentice, The Ranger's Apprentice, The Assassin's Apprentice, Percy Jackson, The Spiderweb Chronicles, Steelheart, Ender's Game, The Giver, Maze Runner, and I Am Number 4. But you didn't
now, wait a second.
think that there were very many male protagonists?
No, I didn't, because actually, the truth is my kids read most of those.
Gotcha.
Or at least had come across most of those, and then they were hungry for more.
Okay. So you might need to tweak your website a little bit then.
You know, but that costs money and time, and I think I don't want to do that.
Okay. It just seems like someone who is a licensed physician for a living has the money to be able to just tweak one line of their website.
I guess I could do that, but I'm too busy, so I'm going to just leave it be.
You have a series called The Eternal
Ephemera.
Ephemera, thank you,
There you go.
whose main character is Cam Fold.
Correct.
On your blog, you mentioned that you weren't interested in writing about someone who comes from poverty. Is this because you think poor people are boring?
Wait, what did I say?
You said that you weren't interested in writing about someone who comes from poverty.
Oh, that's a mistake. Cam is from poverty. He is impoverished. So
Okay.
I've got it. That I will definitely fix.
Yeah, you'll find the time to go fix that one.
I will
Maybe you
fix
can
that
fix the rest
Well,
while
if
you're
I'm
in
going
there.
to fix that, I might as well fix all the other mistakes. So when you tell me all these mistakes, I'll keep a mental checklist and fix them all.
That'd be good. Just so you know, I am charging you for your time to go through and proofread your website for you.
That's perfectly fine, man.
Okay.
I'm charging you for this interview, so it'll wash out.
Yeah, maybe so. I'm sure my rate is higher.
I'm a doctor. I think mine is higher.
But I have insurance, and you don't have
Oh, that's
interview
true.
insurance.
I don't have interview insurance.
Right.
Dang it.
That's how they get you with insurance, man. You don't need it until you need it.
Until you
so
need
that's-
it.
It's better to have it.
That's right.
I think I might know the answer here, but
Yeah.
later in that same blog post, you mentioned that you weren't interested in writing about someone who comes from a hard childhood, who manages to
Are you
easily...
making this up?
I'm not. This is what it says on your website.
It does not
I've
say
got,
that.
I've got the screenshots, and
All right.
I did not doctor the...
All right.
I have
I'll have to
journalistic
go.
integrity.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Because this is turning out to be terrible.
Yeah, it does not look good. That's why I, was really eager to do this interview with you.
Thank you for
because,
fixing these problems.
I didn't fix
or
anything.
finding the
It
problems.
just seems like you're trying to cover up your real opinions.
I have to hire like 3 editors.
Sure.
Because I hit a typo every sentence, and apparently that entire blog post is a typo.
Yeah, I've checked out a couple of your books, and
They're chock full of typos, is what you're trying to say?
You need new editors.
Well, actually, those typos are intentional.
Oh, okay.
There's a clever type of writing in which you leave puzzle pieces in the form of typos.
Oh.
Yeah, I just made that up.
You did?
I did.
You might have created a new genre. That could be like a mystery novel, detective sort of thing, where you got to piece it together using typos. So you said in the blog post that you weren't interested in writing about someone who comes from a hard childhood, who manages to easily leave his traumas behind as he grows more powerful than everyone around him, including his bullies. So you said that this might just be a typo, but
no, that part is true. I
Okay.
wanted somebody who struggled emotionally and physically.
Is this because you believe bullied children shouldn't be able to leave their traumas behind or go on to become well-rounded adults that are better than their abusers?
Oh gosh, that would be terrible if I believed that.
But that's what you wrote, and you just said that you did write that.
Well, I don't want to gloss over the difficulties of overcoming childhood traumas because it's hard.
Sure.
Regardless of what kind of childhood trauma a person has, it's not easy to overcome those kind of things, and to just simply 10 years later they're all fine and they're overcoming their bullies and putting them in their places. Just because they might have something doesn't mean the trauma didn't linger. And so that's really what I was more interested in writing about, is to say it's okay to continually grow and to continually heal, because that's kind of what, I'm 53 years old and my childhood traumas still linger, but it took a while and it was okay.
That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you, man.
Thank you. In your inspiration post for The Casts and the Outcasts,
correct,
you mentioned your main goal was that you wanted to write books in which the people look like those from your background and were culturally similar to your family.
Correct.
Do you regret making this your main goal rather than having your focus be on writing a great story?
No, not really.
Okay.
Because the great story is going to follow from something like that.
That's interesting because I've noticed a trend on the book covers in this series. Your goal was not necessarily just to write a good story, even though you ended up doing so. It was to write a book that features Asian Indian characters.
Right.
The first book, A Warrior's Path, does a fantastic job of this. The cover focuses on a character who looks like he has the beginnings of that silver fox look to him, that handsomeness that you have about you.
George Clooney.
Only he's more attractive.
He's modeled off of George Clooney.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, that's why he looks so good.
That makes sense. Only he's more attractive than you are because he's wearing cool armor. He has a sword. Looks like he's doing some kind of magic, and he's significantly.
And he's also buff, right?
Well, and significantly younger than you are.
That is true. When I was that age, I looked nothing like him.
Really?
So even if I was in my early 20s, you wouldn't mistake Rook for me. You'd be like, that's a cool dude. That's a skinny, ugly dude.
I get that. I get the second one a lot, unfortunately.
Oh, come on, man. You don't get that a lot.
I do.
You look like Logan Paul. I heard somebody say you look like Logan Paul. Logan Paul's a good-looking guy, isn't he?
Who have you been talking to?
So the other two covers, I'm going to cut you off. Yes, the second cover does not feature an Indian, and neither does the third cover.
All right.
I get that.
You went to great lengths to omit the main character, and thus the very representation you are seeking to exemplify entirely from the second and third covers in the series. Why did you do this?
When I just saw the sketch, I was like, that's awesome.
Okay.
And I just wanted the three most important characters represented on the book.
You really just cared about having cool art, not you didn't care about the representation.
Well, the representation is in the book, right?
But not on the cover.
In the first one.
That's true, but I just can't help but, go back to, Alex Rider, how many times his pasty faces on those covers. And
right, and how many pasty faces do you need to see?
More. I think people like me are underrepresented.
That is very true.
Yes.
White males are not represented enough in American culture.
No.
Not at all.
And
especially because you also wear glasses.
Right.
You have that intelligent look. So intelligent white males, they're a vanishingly small breed.
Did you just call me intelligent?
I said what I kind of did, but you look intelligent. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. I think you are.
Oh, thank you.
But you're a very, very, small subset.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't enough for me to be represented on the Ranger's Apprentice books or the Percy Jackson books or the Spiderwick Chronicles, even though every book in those series does feature a white male on the cover. I need more.
Yeah,
so
you do.
Actually, I was wondering if for your future covers, you could continue focusing less on the main character and put more straight white males.
What about a panda?
That's close enough.
Oh, thank you. You're like 23, something like that. No, 17. That's how old you are, 17. Well done. Look at this. You've got these expensive cameras interviewing me. You got to interview other authors. You're only 17 years old, And that's amazing success. When I was 17, I didn't have any clue what to do. You're way ahead of the game. It's all right, man. It's all right.
Davis, you're an endocrinologist for a day job, right?
Yes.
Can you explain what kind of doctor that is?
I can't find it. It doesn't seem to be on any of these stations.
Keep looking.
Oh, you're going too slow. Let me take the wheel.
It's too fast. How could you even tell what's on?
I can tell.
That's
Too late. I'm in the 40s. Gotta go around the horn. It's faster.
people that have hormonal issues. So specifically, it would be mostly diabetes. And there's different types of diabetes mellitus, thyroid disease, pituitary disease, adrenal disease, osteoporosis. And because we deal so much with diabetes, we also take care of a lot of patients who have hypertension and cholesterol issues.
Okay, so I wanted to get help with some patent trouble I was having, namely not knowing the definition of copyright. But I traded Brandon Sanderson some of my intellectual property recently.
This isn't my area of specialty.
No, but we'll get to it.
Okay.
So I had the exclusive rights to both hormone-based magic systems and vitamin-based magic systems. I traded him vitamins because I thought hormones would be the more interesting of the two. Can we go through my ideas for a hormone-based magic system? It's super unique, and I was thinking you, as a medical professional who specializes in hormones, could give me feedback on what I have so far.
I'll do my best, man.
So the foundation of this system is that different people have magically enhanced organs that in turn produce magically enhanced hormones.
Right.
These hormones are able to be extracted in serums that other people can drink to give themselves power, and they burn the magical hormones inside them. Magically capable individuals are kind of pampered, and they get to make a really good living by selling their hormones a little bit at a time. Not too much, of course, because they don't want an uprising on their hands.
Of course not.
Anyway, I figured we'd stop at the very top of the glands in the body, and then we'd work our way down.
Sure.
So the pituitary gland controls endocrine glands that regulate growth. So I'm thinking when you burn it inside your stomach, it'll greatly enhance their physical abilities, just like growing your muscles would do.
Sure.
So they can run, they're stronger, they can run farther, all that good stuff. And they're called patua arms in my world.
Okay.
And then so the next is the pineal gland.
Okay.
It helps set the day-night rhythms.
Sure.
And thus the hormones will allow the user to enhance their senses by essentially doubling what's already there and allowing them to see at night and that sort of thing. And people who utilize this system are called pin eyes.
Okay. So far, it sounds fascinating.
Thank you. It's super unique, and
Yeah,
nobody's...
I've never heard of anything like this before.
Next, we got the thyroid gland.
Okay.
It controls metabolic rate and calcium levels.
Yeah. Well, the parathyroid does more for that, but sure.
We'll get to the parathyroid.
Okay.
So the calcium levels are what dictates if other magic users are able to detect them. So the thyroid gland is able to conceal
Wow.
magic
users.
users.
This is where'd you come up with all this?
Just in my head, man. Like,
Really?
That's just how my brain works.
That's what I'm talking about. 17 years old, and you got this incredibly cool magic system that nobody's ever thought of.
Yeah.
Especially Brandon Sanderson. You'd have thought, he'd have come up with something like this with I don't know, different metal types or something, but clearly he never did.
That sounds stupid.
It does, right? Like burning metals. I mean, you're going to get metal toxicity or heavy metal poisoning.
Obviously.
This is way better.
Yes. Next, we've got the thymus,
Right.
which controls the maturation of lymphocytes, which are a type of white blood cells.
Right.
White blood cells seek and destroy threats, so you'd think that that'd give them an ability like the Seekers. But no. The two main types of lymphocytes are B cells and T cells, which produce antibodies that attack invaders and destroy the body's own cells that have been overrun by diseases, respectively.
Right.
So their whole thing is finding and stopping threats before any serious problems occur.
They're like scouts.
Yeah.
Right?
Sort of like scouts. They're able to use these abilities to great lengths to allow them to soothe the emotions of people around them.
Soothers. That's a good one.
Thank you.
I like that.
And then next, we've got the adrenal glands. I can't talk too much about this one because it's a spoiler.
Right.
In the books, it's known as a higher hormone, which is basically like an alchemical mixture of the thyroid gland hormones and a secret hormone that reacts with the other hormones you're burning.
The adrenal glands are hormone factories, essentially. They got 3 different layers.
Yeah.
And you could have them intermixing in those 3 layers just like you're talking. Oh,
Not too many spoilers.
on the down low.
We're kind of getting through these. The kidneys are a bit unique since most people have 2 of them, right?
Right.
Your left kidney allows you to push on nearby metals, while the right kidney allows you to pull.
Push on what?
Nearby metals.
Metals. Okay.
So you can push and pull metals depending on which
Kidney you activate?
Yes,
Okay.
or is magically enhanced. Most people have one or the other, but there are certain people who can use all of the magic abilities we've discussed so far.
Right.
And really quick, I was trying to figure out what to call them.
Right.
Should the magic users who are able to use the full range of abilities be called hormone-born, or should I just shorten it and call them horborn?
Yeah, see, horborn sounds kind of iffy because of the first part of that word.
What's the problem?
Well, I don't know. You can say it if you want to, but I think it's hormone-born would be better.
Okay, I'll take that into consideration since
Yeah.
you're a medical professional and all that. The last aspect of this magic system is the pancreas. The pancreas helps regulate your blood sugar levels, and when those are out of whack, people tend to get downright mean.
Correct.
Pan, the minor Greek god, gave an angry shout one day that inspired the word panic.
Okay.
So the pancreas allows you to heighten the emotions of those people around you, instill panic, or even cause a riot if you
Interesting.
wanted to, because that's one of the most common uses. I call these users rioters.
Did you ever think of what, things like catecholamines, like adrenaline, or epinephrine, norepinephrine from the adrenals?
I was thinking I'd use those as some of the god hormones that we haven't gotten to just yet. Yeah.
Talk about that.
Davis, you're a smart guy, and I know you've been counting down the glands as we get to 2 of the most interesting and secretive glands in the body, the testes and the ovaries.
Correct. I'm curious what you have for me.
I'm afraid we're not going to get to talk about them today.
That's okay.
They're trade secrets, but let's just say they house extraordinary powers that put them in a league of their own in terms of power.
Oh, really?
I call them god hormones. Like
God
I was
hormones.
talking about. Yeah.
Really?
Spoiler alert. It's due in part to their ability to create life from little to nothing. So I think the god title's pretty fitting.
I'm telling you, I think you made the right decision trading Brandon the vitamins
think
rather
so?
than the hormones.
Oh, good.
I mean, he's a smart guy. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
He's got great magic systems, but nothing like what you just described.
That is such a
I mean, he's
relief.
going to write some book about vitamins. Who's going to read that?
Nobody.
You're on it, man.
Thank you so much for your help today.
You are more than welcome. It was my pleasure.
It's so unique and interesting. I'm excited to start writing it. I think I am going to just go ahead and call it Horborn, and I think it's going to sell super well.
There's definitely a market for that.
Yes.
There is definitely a market for people that would want to read a book titled Horborn.
And I have just one more question for you.
Sure.
I read in an interview that your book, Memories of Prophecies, was inspired by Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time and Tolkien's Lord
The
of the
entire
Rings
series. Yeah, so Memories is just book 2 of Instrument of Omens, which that entire series is sort of my love letter to Lord of the Rings and Wheel of Time.
Do you live in fear of the day that Amazon comes knocking on your door with a script for a limited series?